What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we have yet more brand new Shadowkeep gameplay, which Bungie kindly invited me to capture, and today we do get our first look at the Scarlet Keep Strike on the Moon, and the new Nightfall Ordeal playlist, which uses modifiers to make builds and mod selection very important, so we'll touch on that. We see loads of the new artifact mods, of course, brand new weapons as well, so I got to use a bunch of the weapons that we'll get from Eris on the Moon, and we've got gameplay of the Eriana's Vow exotic, new upgrades, and a bunch of other stuff to cover in this video. So a pretty exciting one guys. If you enjoy it, a rating is very much appreciated. But firstly, we should talk about the new strike, Scarlet Keep, because a lot of the gameplay you're going to see right here will be inside of the strike. So we were playing some of the new difficulty options for strikes at the time. You'll see some of the new weapons from the Moon, but for the strike itself, I actually found it pretty fun. Very intense kind of atmosphere as you climb through the towers, and there are some pretty cool gameplay mechanics in there as well. You'll see plenty of that throughout the video, but I'll run some pure gameplay at the end as well. Should point out the Eriana's Vow exotic hand cannon, thanks to Mr. Sean. So we shared some gameplay with each other. Definitely check out Sean's channel linked below. Of course, Eriana's Vow is earned via the Season Pass at rank 1 if you own Season 8, so we'll get access to it pretty quickly. You can also see the rest of the Season Pass in game right here, but for the main bonus on Eriana's Vow, we have Looks Can Kill. This weapon fires shield-piercing ammunition, and it comes with a scope, but then the second intrinsic is Death at First Glance, where you get bonus damage while aiming down sights on the opening shot of attack. This bonus is preserved if the shot deals precision damage or strikes an elemental shield. And so it's a 90 round per minute hand cannon. It fires pretty slow, but of course this is a new impact archetype for hand cannons as well. And so inside of PvP, it looks like this weapon will 2-tap, especially when you've got that main bonus active. The shield-piercing ammo does take shields down really quick inside of PvE content, and it's a new modifier that actually affects strike enemies as well, which I'll explain in a moment. Here via the Season Pass though, we do have an ornament for Eriana's Vow, but I think it was the only exotic we really got access to, so you'll probably see plenty of gameplay of it. But here you can see a bunch of the lunar weapons as well, so we've got Loud Lullaby, and this is a 110 RPM hand cannon. This roll had Rampage, and you can see one of the new weapon mods there as well. I had an auto rifle called Arcologic, and that's an adaptive auto rifle. Premonition, which is a high impact pulse rifle. I ran this one in the strike, actually felt pretty good, and with the high impact pulse rifle changes, it could be pretty nasty inside of the Crucible, could be a very popular option, especially since it can roll kill clip, and hopefully we'll get some other good perks there as well. But Dreambreaker is an adaptive frame fusion rifle, which is pretty neat, and then there's also a shotgun, a precision frame SMG, adaptive machine gun, a sword, and a kinetic adaptive sniper, so a decent set of weapons to check out and hunt for, because of course we'll be going back for god rolls and stuff like that via the lectern on the Moon. Here though we have Nightfall Ordeals, so these are the new difficulty of strike, which can reward guaranteed exotics, RNG exotics, but exotics nonetheless. But it's also very important for earning new upgrade currencies like enhancement prisms, cores, and ascendant shards needed to fully upgrade a masterwork gear. So inside of this playlist, matchmaking will be available, but only for the first 2 difficulties. Definitely bear that in mind. We can see Adept, Hero, Legend, and finally Master difficulty. And you can see that Adept offers a rare exotic and enhancement cores, but Hero has an uncommon exotic and cores, so I'm not really sure what that rarity is about. Maybe the stats or perks could be better on something that has a higher rarity dropped. And maybe for materials you'd get more of them in a bundle when you clear the harder versions, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Safe to say either way that it's going to be very important for doing a lot of the stuff in Shadowkeep's endgame. A big part of this playlist will be the gameplay modifiers that we see, and there will be critical new modifiers that factor into our success, and specifically how we're going to build those characters. So to explain the modifiers for the strikes first, we have Champions Unstoppable. This mode contains unstoppable champions which cannot be stopped without an unstoppable mod. Man, there was too many unstoppables. Then there are also Barrier Champions and Overload Champions as well. And so essentially certain high level enemies are going to be categorized, and this will dictate how we're going to want to get set up. So if we look at the artifact mods for Season 8, they do correlate to those modifiers. We've got anti-barrier rounds, and this offers shield-piercing rounds designed to bypass combatant defenses, and is strong against barrier champions, so it's actually needed to remove the red shield of the barrier enemies that we can see here. Then we can see an unstoppable mod to stagger unshielded enemies, so this will be for unstoppable champions. Very important versus enemies like these ogres because they do pretty insane damage, but can't really be flinched or distracted whatsoever once they spawn, unless you have the mod to do so. And then we can see overload rounds, which grants disruption, delaying ability energy, and lowering combatant damage output. And so certain enemies, especially when you do the really high levels of these strikes, do considerable damage. And that's a rough explanation of the modifiers that we get in the strikes themselves, and some of the bonuses that correlate to them via the seasonal artifact. Of course, we will need to upgrade the artifact to get access to them. There are more unique mods, but there are also mods for armor that combat those new modifiers as well. So you've got things like Breach Refractor, and this grants grenade energy on final blows with shield-piercing weapons, or when a member of your fire team shuts down a barrier champion's ability. Then you've got Unstoppable Melee, Arc Melee abilities stagger unshielded enemies, and this is strong against unstoppable champions. So once again, there are a whole bunch of other mods and things that'll affect all different types of activities, not just strikes, but this kind of explains what's going on with it, and it should help to make sense of this new system at least a little bit. Also, when you're actually in gameplay, the champion effect will be displayed above an enemy, so when I hit the knight here, you can see he has the barrier icon, which is the triangle on his nameplate, and then the round icon is for overload champions, and the square one is for unstoppable enemies, and these icons also are shown on the ammo UI for weapons, so you can pretty easily see what you have equipped and where during gameplay. For today though guys, I think that's everything I wanted to round up in this video. I'm pretty excited about the new strike system. Hopefully there'll be some other kind of loot to chase throughout the new strikes and stuff like that, but remember, these new difficulty options will apply to existing strikes in the game as well, so it's definitely going to be a little bit more of a focus, but if you want a bit more detailed gameplay of the new strike, I'll run some right here. Check out some of the new weapons, mechanics, and all that good stuff, but let us know your thoughts about what you're seeing in the strike, or the Eriana's Vow Exotic Cannon. Definitely one I'd need more time with before jumping to any conclusions personally, but I'd also love to hear your thoughts on the Season Pass or those artifact unlocks and upgrades, as well as how they apply to the new strike playlist. But guys, if you've enjoyed the video, a rating really helps me out. If you're new around here, also be sure to hit subscribe to keep up to date with everything related to the game. But otherwise, thank you as always for tuning in, and I hope you have an awesome day.
as pure and potent as sunshine, soaking through your skin. Ashladun knows what you are, what you've done. She watched you cut through Crota, Oryx, Omnigul, and she is eager to return that pain.
Here she comes. Guardian down.